omo amanone no entumi amma na ye ho ankochire. Even though we're camping and training in Ghana, no, na ye ni ba so ewa amanone a ye hwe emrantia omo amanone no to check on their availability, continuous engagement with their clubs, any players, no, because in October last year and November last year, no, and that's all and here I'm talking about COVID, and they graduate and she said for Fraba say it has become extremely difficult for players to travel outside the EU zone, and again. Players, it took a COVID risk area or Babaka or mandatory quarantine. And we did a Liverpool Champions League or neutral ground. As now over here, Europa League no Okobo neutral ground. And you know, the reason for camping or training in Ghana, no, and yet 100% say players now have throw money na and now be make squad now. Yedebe kwakobo South Africa and Sao Tome match no. Again, and then put there you try a year you walk camp no be I think 2 weeks into camping. An opportunity a buy say Uzbekistan for a African opponent at their testing in this match FIFA free window. And you know, we made it clear to them say but AFCON qualifies. The best we can do is to raise a second team because we are still building for the future. Now, Ayala, campaign home-based players for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever number of weeks I'll be campaign home-based players. It will be free. It will be bemu. There are those who get contracts and leave. And they are no say. You can't home-based players because the number is Yabonte. You know, the long and short is that the number one reason they say, na yempese yehoba chire senya yeho chire abra ni Sudan boy. The second reason is that we have put up a developmental program. Yempese that developmental program ebe my opportunity I build a wholesome squad that what death. Senya Kofi Niwa kwabra be jinem no ogba you won't spot any difference. O spot difference kwa again to restore confidence in our home-based players, for them to feel say they are still part of the project. These were the three main reasons in here. You different players, no say omomrane and come, and they it be an opportunity about final squad name. It be into me and break into the final squad, but eventually the program or the rebuilding exercise goes on. Into no Omoko Uzbekistan. Ibrahim Tanko the Omoko Oba Onisi Quebec compare notes. Once football has not ended, it means these players who couldn't make the squad for AFCON qualifiers still have an opportunity in future.
Oh, okay. Harry, Obibe Busa said Osha the squad down with the two Jana and that number of foreign based players are more. And then more plan first, not to be surprised by the Sudan issue now. How optimistic Anna FNE say all the foreign based players are Enra Kosika Kono Etu Dino. They will be available for the South Africa and South Tome and Principe game. No.
Ubasha, yeah. The process of naming the squad, I check may have many teams are my elite in naming their squads for qualifiers. It is because now you need clubs and come on na in CP. Again, eventually it's a club no GP say the player is available. There was only player no kasa. The player no GP say indeed Oba and I say Oba. Again, training now, I'm sure the coaches were paying particular attention to certain positions in here. Say yebe shimukina. And I inform me on my decision. to call these number of players, not to mention any name. And it's just I say, a possible say between that time here, say, and copy say at the Ebechino, there may be changes because club between us standard drain at any time, player between us standard drain at any time. But there is also a plan B, and the plan B is to fall on those who are in camp at the moment. Say make us say, player do a man on it, na the clubs and the email, and a player no fresh reason A, B, C, John to him. And ya fee, ayala, and ya fee, na fee, Oko Fred Medium, say, release Rashid not a mummy. And I Oko Fred Kotokwaka Chen say, release Ebia Sako de Bremen, because we play our man on the one to me. It is a Maya be preset, your name is squad. I mean, first of all, your players are called camper eventually, and your own and I make it team no and they come off. But rather, let's focus on the right steps I take here not to be surprised. And now say, send you to rent in their entry. May I sure say, now that the players are in camp, a Kobase player A to ma only headache, Bia say, be replaced. But Enka may I say, your course, Cape Coast, Kobo, Sudan match. A free stadium, a bedroom hotel, no players too, a bedroom hotel. A free Cape Coast, a bedroom and crying, not John Boys to Swaba. That is not something we really want to experience again. So I come boy back where we feel on our bedroom hotel. Now players, as Swaba, they are on their way to the next game. And no, I am a person CPM. Say, your preparation, your mentality, you be able to pepe. Now I'm going to be Emma. And you know, there is a possibility, say, some of these players may fall out. But a Kobas almost feel poor. There is a plan to replace them. And that is one of the reasons for going to camp 4 weeks ago.
Harry, Nessa Metiwasi, even the foreign based players now from and they FNN to me fan and sense to say all of them will be available. And the follow-up question and they say deadline being a daho as in day ben a more expert to say ebesi nadia na obia obetimi make the trip no now about do Ghana for the South Africa and South Tommy and Principe game no.
As at Enra time I in squad no. Now you're 100% sure say obia ni dinwo squad ni bia available. And then no pay YMTB bia me hope say if in na copy mechna yentia se mboni bia na omwa na ebe make it trip no. Now who be set deadline for the players to arrive a Monday because it be on matches echna and then a kwesiada obi we match Sunday bia ebe for flight abagana obi we match Saturday. The next thing is to join the available flight and come to Ghana. Into your sharing is a way be Brandon or Paddy. Obia and the own Kataso, Sabria Menokase, Americans.
Harry, 7 locally based players Razak Abalora, Oforienchi, Danlad Ibrahim, Philemon Bafo, Glassen Awakon, Joseph Iso, Kwame Opoku. In the circumstances that we find ourselves, any senior Munim said there's a school of thought campaigning for local content in their blasters, no, was number 7, the best, the technical team and the FA Ebetimia in the current circumstances, no.
Bibia Bissino, you find solutions to the problem. It could be the same problem, but it will happen at different times. At this particular moment, these players we called to camp, players are na yatio mudin, na coaches akoshe na ya monitor from afar, including the technical director or colleague centers ekoshe. Now, in game situations, sometimes I was a player once, twice, thrice, sometimes 4 times. The player no if in a comfort zone no about national team camper. The environment is different. a lot of things come to play. And we gave ourselves 4 weeks to closely assess these players. I don't want to believe that from what we watched, what we saw, Minyayanka, every training program, to monitor things for yourself from day 1 to day 2. Let's not also forget, sir, in all these issues, situations, and circumstances, he about 2 test games. Last week, Saturday, we played a team from Medina, a second division team. We need 2-1. And Rechi, Lagos City's boy, we need 3-1. The decision to settle on these players is based on performance and how they have performed or distinguished themselves within the last 4 weeks. Obi in Tayobi is not about within, but upon training, who's a head coach, assistant coach, technical director, any video analyst, or asset ablo. Or saying you will balance is a holder, and then be there for the technical director. They always have meetings after every training session. A policy said Bernard Lepe said every training must be, you can say, recorded. In the department, it is our responsibility to cover every training session of the Black Stars since Omba camp. And there is a technical analysis after every training session. A player can be informed yesterday and lose form today. A player can be a hero in the league, but Oba camper, national team camper, it could be stage fright. It could be lack of confidence. It could be anything. It be Oba Pokakra. Intermediate, from what I have seen, a free time we almost started training. ABC and Nura, our coaches decided on who must be in and who must be out. I think they have taken the right decision.
Harry, the legitimate follow-up question to or explanation, and they say, if we are saying, say, in the last 4 weeks, konya a monitor players we mo, ebi say Justice Blamo, Rashid Norte, any players are Ghana for Dudwana show mu week in week out in our league. Nasa ye satisfied say no, they are not giving us the standard a year per our blasters are. Obibo Busa say, what was the level of the same close monitoring and strict analysis to the foreign-based players in Soso? How were you able to say, the standard of your monitoring is equal in terms of players from more company? Any more matter from more Ewaman?
In answering your question, sometimes will be 4 weeks for justify. Obama player for so 2 days. Now, if you want to will be for 4 weeks, or the 2 days are here. It depends on the person and the experience and exposure. Like I say, yeah, can't monitoring. I think a lot of monitoring has gone on within the last few days. Minyayanka, even there are some players and yet based on performance, but based on situation, South Africa match. Obi say, Andre Ayew, within the last 5 weeks, he should be our best player in Europe. Oshe, Obo, he's always playing. Tariq Fosu, same for Brentford. Jordan, season in Koyi, but within the last 3 weeks, he is playing. Amate, Baba back very nicely. Obobo for Leicester City. And the minimum said, Ayala, the technical directorate have a system almost at the monitor your players every weekend. Bernard Lepet or Bayern, he requested for extra hands. And we have employed, I think, about 4 more people to help him. Every week, almost data, we monitor every single Ghanaian talent, even those who were not born here, who are playing abroad. I don't think I will be to say Kwame Pokubi a PM from Colchester. Maybe we'll come to that. But In answering your question, what I am saying is that we did not get here just by accident. We did not get here because Yesha will be in Miefe, HIOB. A lot of consultation and monitoring went on. And yes, a deep research and a course and sana you drew her. Why player A at the expense of player B? Reasons were given for it. At this moment, we may here and now we any here, and also reasons were given for it. It is and never be bring commodity. The catcher will say in arriving here, the management committee and the technical director and the technical team a meeting there 4 times. At that any Lagos City's boy, there was a meeting in the morning before the game. In the game, they met again. The following morning, they met again. In the year back for a Kotina baby, I list Obia or survey on the committee from Sami Kufuor, Alassane Abu, George Amuakun, President Okraku, Vice President, coaches, Bernard Lepet. They sat down every day and they had a pool of names, including your home-based players here all camp for 4 weeks. Finally, we decided say these players merit call-up at this particular moment.
Henry, Minister, you've already touched on Andre Ayew, Jordan Ayew, Daniel Amate, Tariq Fosu. Yang Ade Obi Samuel Owusu. Any players are consistent in the last 4 call-ups at this lineup. Young, what is the reason why you're missing all these players?
Well, with specific reference to those in England, there be a league in a Drew. English club be anywhere. Obejani players on to South Africa. Because South Africa, you declare South Africa as a country, say only a COVID risk zone, and that is from the United World Health Organization. Now, Utukwanko South Africa, now returning to England. England, Germany, I think Italy, depending on the situation, a mandatory say obey 10-day quarantine. Baby, I agree. Okay, baby, Swansea da in the championship, Brentford da in the championship, Leicester City da in the Premier League. They are fighting for Champions League position, top 4 finish. It is extremely difficult for these clubs to allow their players to travel to Africa and South Africa in particular at this time. In the clubs, it's a South African record there is a straight no. And until the Mate, Jordan, Slop, Dede, Tariq Fosu, and possibly maybe any of the other players are more top flight. Samuel Owusu is also another example. Also, so there is an issue of mandatory COVID quarantine. Until no, so exclusive. Say, the idea is say he didn't come say hopefully clubs on the better here. Now you reach South Africa match no on between Abebo Sao Tome. But it cannot happen without you can say receiving the green light from the clubs. Into a no by any engagement in commodity. Say ko ya yeni beji. Say Uncle Banner Sanswa. We will stick to the current plan. Ye hope we say because South Africa, then a good result. Now you bar yeni Sao Tome so abewiwa.
Harry, talking about the English situation, yenya a release from France, also from players almost in the French League and League 2. Yeah. Saying they are not going to allow their international players to travel. But in their list, Nicolas Opokuni, Emmanuel Lomote, Musia Kan or Amiens or France. Is there a special case why still these players are in the lineup, even though you say France also has declared say moment for an ember down?
Well, the France situation, a bit dicey. Okay. In the sense that as at the time I engaged the club, now decision way and you framed up And we included the names of these two players based on Nkomodia in the club no a time one you put the names together. Interestingly, just as we released or we're about to release the squad, and as our statement we about wanting from League 1 clubs and then League 2 clubs, whether you are in agreement or not, you are bound by that decision. It means I'm here as a club. To me, in free a particular decision. Until we will revert to the club and speak to the players and take a decision on it. Whether they will still be allowed to come or not. A conversation in the club already. And I bet you. Finally, Omu decided decision from the Premier, the League 1 and the League 2 clubs in India, all more players in Myanmar. All we have to do is to replace them. And they are non-negotiable.
Harry, in the list, where 3 players are now Omoka the Blasters Light team, Ekoje the Youth Afcon, no, Meka Dalad Ibrahim, Philemon Bafo, and Fatau Isahaku. What was the plan to include these players fresh from under 20 Triumph into the Blasters?
Well, in building a team for the future, you need to have a plan for your youth teams. Ayala, over the period, the Black Stars have suffered because their youth teams have not impressed in recent tournaments. So, main committee be brea. Joseph created a team or they called 99. In your son first in 2001. Afrani de Argentina could be second. In your squad no home for swore at the Mali 2002. Even though we exited at the quarterfinals, we had the John Pentils, John Menses, Derek Boatins, and co. Michael Essien playing the qualifiers from 2-4 Abare to start here. And Dukovic at the Ebewe and they qualify for 2006 World Cup. 2009 winning under 20. At that time, Yeko Angola 2010. Now John Pinton a pra, John Mense a pra, Michael Essien a pra, Suleiman Tari a pra. And we went to the tournament without these players. But we fell on Salastete Tima or the call Egypt co-winning World Cup. That is why Andre Ayew, Samuel Lincoln, Ajiman Bedu, that time one of the best central defenders on the local scene, Liadi, Omunyanya chance about Black Stars, and then they played in the World Cup in 2010. The impression of coming here is this is the time to put confidence in these players who recently won the AFCON. Say one more opportunity no there, then when again and our moms are opportunity. And technical team no feels I will say a day or more a team at this moment, but a very gradual process. Mean to mean and cassette than lad a couture Richard Ofori, any Abalora, any Eric Forenji within this short period. But there is a mid-term and a long-term plan. The mid and long-term plan is to gradually integrate them into the squad. Opportunity banner of the Mijinemua and yet the full Emano is the reason for this decision. In the Mantiam, yes, they have trained, I think, 2 days. But for Obudu Camp Noir, any Legon Cities friendly match. About the full game, and you will be a mama. So he just arrived in the morning. In the afternoon, the team played, and he played a full game. Minute got in a tram in a net on a heading come, and he was surprised. Say, player will do an pay. ABA, on ready, but he didn't dream about 90 minutes. And Sana, you build players' confidence. Sana, you prepare players for the biggest stage. There are several examples to give. There are a few who disappointed when they were given the opportunity. Tio Walcott is an example. In 2006, he was in the England squad, but went to me and making a mark. and yet great player. The Ronaldos, the G Robertos, and the list is endless. Obia and kakra. When you about also now we're ready, we're building the confidence. Now when you exposure, no, I feel that over started, no, when you overawed by the stage and our expectation, and that is what the coaches are trying to do.
Harry, you focus on the debutants, no, especially when we free the foreign soil, no, no kakra, and yenya details of why these particular players, no, handy or more debut call up or blasters, no. Near started from defender friend of Steven Ambrosius Osina Kama Hamburger SE. And here he has been playing for German youth teams, you know, and or even in line, say friend or German under 21, no. How good is he? And more person tiny up in Tina, my friend at this time, so Omisia kind for Ghana na.
Well, Ambrosius, the numbers are very impressive. Senior okay, and Ryan described not too, I was speaking to Lepet and Ryan at Jubilee 11, and he mentioned that when your calls from Germany, Omoni Kuntokwase, one of their stars, that you can say almost hope is or be breaking into the main national team in future. Now, the truth is that Ayala, there was a reason for setting up the International Relations Committee. Obekaya, one of the committees are administration we set it up, International Relations Committee, and President and a chairman, Sami Kufo a vice chairman, Stephen Appiah a member. I think Razak Pimpon and she a member. And the reason is that these people are supposed to monitor every single Ghanaian player or eligible to play for us. And I'm sure that Jiku buy and let Jiku, you can't. One of our consistent players in the last 4 games are Uyu Jiku Fimo and Yeye. And I'm sure that Tariq Fusubai. Tariq, another consistent player in the last 4 games for the Black Stars. And you know, Oma decided to say, Ghana ni bia ya wono tokrumu bia o ye footballer. O ye eligible say obebobo ama Ghana no. Maybe o shebi ebe kwa kochenaba. I think about 2 months ago, there was a Ghanaian who says Kwaju Ba or so, na ya linking to Man City. Ono say you contacted no. Technical director and in the club in Como England. Unfortunately, you're contacting the parents, no. Almost say he's not ready yet, mentally or prepared. Say, and you know, the long and short is that there is a data that we have. Technical director no ekuta. Agana ni bia ya wono otoku bia mu a obetumi abo aman no. Omo monitor no week in, week out. The national team appointment bar. They speak to the coaches and give them the data and now the facts and now the player appearances, the strengths, the weakness. Baby, I'll be to fit into the team. So seek a feel say or here player no time no so. I was so friend. Now Ambrosius, me video. I think he's a good player, but sometimes you also need to give the player the opportunity to come. Now I monitor player no closely. One-on-one, the attitude, the reaction, the mentality, the conditioning, affair or integrity. How does he relate with the other players? And until now, decided to say, this is the time. I was a friend. Now I monitor closely. Affair no free wa. Se kobase obana or take boxes ni na na fe omatiki. Another decision. So going into the future, he is either in our plans or he's not in our plans. Same thing applies to Kojopoku, Coach Estabueno.
Oh, okay. Harry, may I sure say the Colchester situation, you know, they're gonna afford to do an account on the streets and say, are we saying say a 4th-tier league player? England is better than player being say, for instance, Justice Blay, who has dazzled the Ghana Premier League, and Obian himself or was our temperament to even play at the Blasters level. Sir, and Commander Air Koso Wabontin, especially about Kwame Free Pokuno. What is the justification from the coaches now? In the Blasters lineup, no.
A certain junior Gogo was playing for Nottingham Forest. Eba Ghana. No boy in there. I think second tier at the time. But he became a hero. A certain Kwesi Appiah, from Grant Freno. That time was he playing for Oxford United or something? Third tier. Oh boy, I think he performed creditably well when he was given the opportunity. I think that sometimes I wasn't quick to judge the players because of fourth tier or third tier. You surprised to know, say, even third tier now, coaching techniques are war, opportunities are war, exposure are war, facilities are firm honor. First year, in better compare to any player, or you better see way, and now you better see way. But say, OT player being can, and this is what the technical people have said. Say, if we have monitored him for a period, he is a Ghanaian. We have taken a decision to monitor every Ghanaian player to Kubi or Shimbia or say at the bar. And a young fanimra. Obidru at the Ayape and a dinner. And they are Minoka say, me, Ubisame, to give attributes about Justice Blair and Yedin. Because Maheno, from Hazakes to, can I say, Midiema, Kotoko, back to Midiema. Maheno, means you know, 5 seasons, Maheno. And the Yamedin, same man of attribute. Because my name is Teha. The woman on if you want videos, they are recommending no man amao. But one for now, now I'm sharing closely. Sometimes some of these collabs are not necessarily to rate a player ahead of the other, but it is for a technical reason. Say, yes, a player be our team. We say, okuta quality A, quality B, quality C. Me as a coach, my video. I am impressed. They are machino, but in person me closely. The way or touchy ball, the way or the technique here, how he uses his instep, the human relation, the integration with others, the attitude, the mentality, the close contact. Na understand the way our football is here. That is the bottom line. Is the reason for making some of these decisions. Eddie, the American say. Once he is a Ghanaian and he is a footballer, he deserves every single opportunity in any of our national teams, provided he qualifies. Yenche Nomra, Obidrua, Yebeshe, they are also on board.
Harry, for some of us, Yenim Abrantia Fene Kama Soa on loan from our Sinakama Spezia. Are we lucky to have a striker from the Italian league being called up, and you see someone Ghanaians must be happy, say at least you bet me a collection of players you bet me are building on for the future?
Well, me personally, many of you say your friend Emmanuel Jesse. Say talent be a PA free Emmanuel. I was say open or coin beer or open for beer say Odin never be active now. See, I do stage via. I was say ye day ni share and Twum. I mean, take it or leave it. That is where we find ourselves at this moment. Reason to make us say next year, a AFCON year, the same year, a World Cup year. What it means is that you need a wholesome squad. Now, the history of African teams at the World Cup, you call World Cup, you tell now why they say. At all times, you call World Cup, you need wholesome squad. Ghana, the only time I call World Cup, you wholesome squad was 2014. South Africa, because South Africa now, Sule Bench, Derek Bench, Stephen appear at the bench. I'd call up for the team.
Harry, Nanciana in Share Sports Desk, na ye read the article be about Calibre Cuban and in the situation with Turkey. Ebeto just say ni team, I'm a personal psychologist or any personal training because Omojin said mentally the guy is not in the right shape and I'm on a form echo from Kakra. Say already article be sir, na say ye national team call up. Ne fo be say Calibre Cuban. Then it raises questions say have we done due diligence on Abrantiano, ne physical preparedness, and ne mental preparedness? Obetimabesi Akai for Ghana. Do you know about that situation concerning Abrantiano and Calibre Cuban?
Yes, I know. Say the club no the NATO therapy. So say the coach in particular say ne form at DP because I think he has gone 4 weeks or so without scoring. But what I also know is, Ayala, sometimes when you know, say a player is going through a patchy moment, now you're national team coach, that is the time you rather need to get the player closer to yourself. Ediato, Lucas Podolski, some time ago, Joachim Löw never ever spoke in public about the player. He knew about Podolski's challenges at Arsenal. He was not getting games, but every national team collab, na Podolski. Jerome Boateng, another example. So many examples. Even Lionel Messi, he has gone through a lot in recent months, in recent weeks. But Argentina ain't yet collab in because the player is key. Nani hu hiawa. So it is not as if say onimbo. Then we be a mental in a new man koye. That Brennan I was say, o getting closer. Now bibi or didn't go through. And for me, I think that from the very day Caleb making a debut to the last time I will play, even in I think in Cape Coast when he came on as a substitute, I think he played well. Only God knows what he is going through. I know, say, coach, anything come on, Abrano. Indeed, be a baby or coach, no catch them. Hey, Pia, and no name suntia. What friend say, Rakam. Sometimes, it's difficult. Say over two player a JJM because what is a player no echo and we him, and a player no any stable mind and a stable condition. Because in coaching, you are not just the man directing affairs on the touchline. You are the manager of the team. And being the manager of the team is just like the manager of Inshira FM. Sebi in previous, free fee now be juma now yera ha wo juma mu. I was say what this problem. Etu fee and now the to achi. What obe juma mu na e wo wadwin mu a e affect wo delivery and now execution. I was a manager no go into your mind actually I will go through and say try to manage the situation. That is part of coaching. A coach should be a manager, a coach should be a father figure, a coach should be a communicator, a coach should be everything because players need to park. You are their father, mother, mentor, everything. It is a player when you hear more. That is the time you need to show yourself approved. And knowing say on anything come on, meaning say a Cuban bar or ban is one of the can say a Neoma coach no better try say obedi hujuma. And then I think that and
okay,
again,
but
when you don't have,
okay.
Again, when you don't have Jordan and some of your senior strikers are on team, and as established strikers are on team, you also need to tap into the experience of a player like Ekuban.
Oh, okay. Harry, I know we didn't come here. Omomu follow so no. Our Facebook in Share 104.5 no. Ye videos of Kwame Efriye Poku. Our senior kama Colchester United no. And for many Ghanaians, I'm sure that any Abrantiano no. Mo betimi aba ye Facebook or na ma be sha Abrantiano no me videos anyhow good our yentia ene kosika kono ato ne safen. Before we move on, Harry, Mami Musao, what is the situation with Mohamed Salisu? of Southampton, Ghanaians are interested to get him to come and play for Ghana. Meaning say yes, UK and say some of their tuja. But what is the situation on him and say obetimi abesi akan ama Ghana?
Well, I think that some months ago, Ekoba said, Coach Kasai said, of course, Spain or tries on in the Bedin Koma. When the boy personally came out, said he is ready and willing to play for Ghana. Maybe I have a friend who be and he's one of the players I overall a date on him. Abia coach in the field said timing, and yeah, appropriate say or friend. But I think if having known, someone said, "Okay, Southampton beginning in a struggle." Emma Mekaise, Ralph hasn't had to cry about one thing, but can't say Salisu go through a problem or try say or solve it. Yeah, the young couple wants to say, and what to me are overcoming such challenge now. What started airball matches. And when you have a player in the Premier League, who here be to be convinced or a top quality material between Abu and team. In Salus, yes, we are still monitoring him. I'm sure say COVID niche muna say UK LFTR restrictions now. He will be back on our radar.
Here zoom to the end of your interviews, Ma me Gina Ghana for name na mimbusa 1 or 2 questions on the streets. Send a bear sa who anu ye bia na what media amaye. And the first major discussion and they say Abrantia Osina Kama Karela United the dia Usi Taylor. The top scorer our Ghana Premier League with 12 goals. Are we saying say the top scorer of the Ghanaian league is not good enough to make it to the Blasters?
The top scorer of the Ghanaian league is good enough to make it to the Black Stars on face level. But you can be scoring. I remember 2006 Prince Tego was all over the place. At the Prince Tego called AFCON. Nafi Neniso El Tatano. 2002 Ishmaelado was scoring every week. It make or AFCON. Afi Naneniso Echimo. A certain Isaac Boache, who was then maybe Obeshene, Echina Onshe, Adechia Onshe, the next game no Ashe. He rather became our hero against Burkina Faso. Ofi bench be 2 goals. Ever qualify for quarterfinals. Inti Emamu Mayen Sheno tra say Obia 12 goals in 17 matches. Inti it was a breaking into the Black Stars. No. Coach Bia on their Oshe. Now, in 1998, David Ginola and Eric Cantona were the best players in the Premier League. Ginola, Onyinemua, Tottenham in winning match. Cantona, Onyinemua, Man U. But, Ora, I can say French coach Jacques, the other name, who decided to say, Obeko World Cup without Ginola, without Cantola. He decided to rely on youngsters like Thierry Henry, a certain Zinedine Zidane who was nobody, and he won the World Cup. Olivier Giroud was scored 1 in 6 games, but Didier Deschamps has kept faith in him. Or the next World Cup, Giroud and share 1 goal, France winning World Cup. Like I said, Oshewo Arsenal on Kaho, Martial Oshewo United on Kaho. Let's move the argument from just say Ubia 12 goals and talk about technical issues. Let's discuss technical issues. The same argument. I see an exceptional quality in Kwame Poku, but my new opinion, because I am not part of the decision-making process. Kwame Poku footballer, you see maturity, you see excellence, you see brilliance. And you've been able to catch and say, this boy is ready for the top level. And he did not do it once. He did not do it in the week 1 and forgot to do it in week 2, week 3, week 4. He has been consistent. Say, who take a decision on such players? Ayala, anything. Because Wamao reason to believe, say, given the chance, Oma Weninu Nwase. But Bia, and yes, I'm here in the other situations. Again, Coach Bia, a player, especially in the attacking area, you are looking for options. Can he play behind the front man? Can he play on the wings? What can he produce or provide when he is put as a right winger or left winger in a 4-2-3 formation? Is he comfortable in such situations? Me, if you ask me, I feel the right decision has been taken by the coaches. It's not just about scoring 12 goals. It's about being, the right word, but also say your mouse has a chance now. May you sue Kwame Poku as an example because me Ubi Samia, one of the players who has impressed our camp for the past 4 weeks, or your number one. The attitude on Kasawa Park, so they are all here, the way of behaving, the human relation. Or when you on your top scorer, say you don't only be goal king, but Osha, or compare to the other players, what we say, or when you such a player, we a coach now will take a decision. Say them big and kind. We should be talking about players showing quality, competence, almost technical prowess. Giving the opportunity our training grounds, because what you do at the training grounds and the man influence coaching decision. Say you good, say you good. That should be the argument. It shouldn't be just because Obias had 12 goals in 17 matches. And say what distinguishing who, so on distinguishing who he must be in the team. I think that argument and city well, Emma.
Henry, you would do come on a kaya for say not ye show videos of Kwame Poku. I think that we've moved to Kamel Soa. That Leicester City boy Omalonino to Belgium, and you watch his videos and Bibian can't just say he's a super winger. Henry, many house of folk, a typical house of folk fans say didn't come on. Omo reservations and they say Abrantia Fanny Ibrahim Salifu. Now Osina Kama 11 wonders, no. He has become a toast of the Ghana Premier League or winning MVPs back and forth. But Oba has a folk, no, and yes, onye good enough for the Blasters, and it's not even good enough to make it to the local Blasters. What is the justification both from Sika Akono and Ibrahim Tanko on Abranti and Ibrahim Salifu?
Well, and now who posts to your Facebook. Here because sometimes I was a situated argument in a well. Salifu, Wamba has a folk, and Sana ye dropping. Salifu, ye dropping before Ansana, Oba has a folk. That is something that I want the public to understand. Sebi in progress. First squad, no 32-man squad, no bar out. No. There was a House of Oak player. Mo Hassan was in the squad. After week 1, coaches need to take decisions there. And was all reduce number not from 32 to 26. And yet, player Biano between me and Mickey squad, especially when a decision has been taken, say reduce from 32 to 26. In 1992, Olympic Games. Siki Akono, he was dropped. The current coach of the Black Stars. They dropped him. But he became the captain in 1996. You understand? Audu Isaka, 1995, Yeko Ecuador. He was not in the team. Omokobo friendly match. Samade Jinaono say, boy we and obo etiame for team so and so. Obo friendly match in we decided say or the Abrantian Beko camp, and they picked him. He later became the hero in that team, someone who was an outsider. So I am saying that, prepare team. Some of these things will happen. Let's know, say, player be Michael Essien, or could justify Manchester United, Alex Ferguson and Faro. You know, in the obey or Chelsea. Michael Essien, Echo France. That time, Claude Puel was the coach of Olympique Marseille. Or rejecting or Marseille. And Essien, Echo Bastia. Later, when he became the one of the best players in the French league, Claude Puel wanted him at Marseille. Okacheno playing say, me buy and all reject him. And when the name Soma Essien, and they call Olympique Lyon. So what I'm saying is that any club are nipabo, any player nipping, nemo any player no ability on the pitch. You can be winning the MVPs every week, but they all call the biggest stager. How do you respond? And it's very, very important. That should be the argument. It's not about the club the person plays for, the number of MVPs he has won, blah, 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 blah. Not at all. It goes beyond that. A branch of your team, no, say, or Bechem, your friend, or I'm saying, is it Moro? Bechem United player.
Yeah, Moro Salifu.
Moro Salifu. Me hunwa na me niaji ubisa me identity because okasa almost 4 he is ready. Okasa almost 6 he is ready. Okasa almost 2 he is ready, and every day the coaches keep changing his position. But me who say we reacting negatively that is why he has stayed in camp from day 1 till now. That is why he is part of the team called Uzbekistan. Ayala, I think there was a movie argument from number of MVPs are player winning at all costs and also make it squad. Or Bobo or say, or yes say. Player be or do the biggest stage. The way I reacting, he is overwhelmed, overawed, he is reacting, his mental fortitude, everything get lost. The decision making process for the coaches is yet difficult. Be not public in the whole. All in all of these, training now. Obia meshe. Inti. Adrian o team she. Ano pay me the Mohamed Salah ne Sadio Mane example. Obama Young, Arsenal captain. 2 seasons ago, they were top scorers in England. Their name has not changed. They haven't changed club. They are still, Salah is captain of Egypt, Obama Young is captain of Gabon, Mane is captain of Senegal. Nothing has changed about these 3 players. Can you compare their form then to what they are doing now? And the answer is no. But they are still Salah, Mane, Obama Young, da 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 da. It's not about what you did yesterday. It's about what you show today.
Harry, yeah, the Kumasa Neti. Enti Kotoko Benyen. Kotoko Nkomoso so Benyen. Now, a lot of Kotoko fans say, oh, Nasa Christopher Nate Kwade, ya fan or Blaster Scrum and starting games bida. Now, Ebane Sena, you choose 2 right backs, and they Philemon Bar 40 me free and 20. Any Dreams FC, 80 me sign home in the pecking order. Is there a justification from Sika Kono to that decision?
We will go back to the last submission that I made. Siki Akono, and they introduced Christopher Nete Kotoko when he was the coach. Last season, he was one of the best players in the league. When we started this season, he got Tekino. And the day before Ansana opened the squad, and the year of April, I feel out to the Argentine. Then he should talk because why not they call for those matches. And now we decided to Benson Annan boy closely. A 20-year-old Ayala. I know say game where Nekata boy was taking. He was one of our best players. It was his first game and he was one of our best players. Debutant. He put his best foot forward. His Arsenal was he was brilliant from beginning till the end. Unfortunately, subsequently, went to Myanmar because of COVID. In the ABR, now that he is available, you want to give him an opportunity. Again, we are developing players for the future. So if it is that ABR Benzinanan is coming back, now you know in your mind, say, South Africa, he will be your starter. Now, opportunities also Uzbekistan for the TB to go and play, which is part of your development process now. I don't think there is anything wrong deciding that Tanko Enfa Neti and Kobo Uzbekistan. No Umbra back. Enfa report Umbra. I am sure. Say Umbra back. That Tanko Bekache and say, oh, he was this, he was that, he was that. There is another opportunity against Sao Tome. And possible say he will be invited again. All is not lost. We are planning, we are talking about today, but the long-term plan is the future. It's AFCON 2022. It's Qatar 2022. That is where we should be focusing. Young country players, and they say, Wakotna camp 4 weeks. Eventually, when the list came out, your name is not part of the final squad. And my yet my players in him feel is the end of the road. Maybe Siki, I example. Maybe Audi Saka, I example. There is always a brighter day for a footballer. I just what decided that will be giving up. It is a net make squad where it doesn't mean say the chances in the Black Stars are cutting off. They are in the mind of the technical team. The former DPR, I was a APR or Young Juma. And now say at this point they don't think he is at the right level for these two games. But he is still in their plan. And he should be thinking about Cameroon 2022 and Qatar 2022. How old is he? One call up and say, coach SEC player. But rather, you continue to put your best. You continue to play your normal football. You keep fighting, working harder. Do things for the coach to come back for you. I think that should be the argument.
Okay. Wait there. I come back 2 minutes for your interview, no? And the next. Yes. This question, a question be a dama come so far. Now we'll wrap it up with what we need to know about the Qatar FA partnership, no? Any Malcolm dealer, no? Mosani, no? My last but one question, Asante fan Augustine Wachi. Look, Henry, for me, he is the most talented player in the Ghana Premier League. But
for me. He is the best number 10 in the league. He's a player that I know.
Exactly. And how come he's missing from even the local Blasters?
Monitored for 3 years. Augustine Boachi is a player that I have monitored for 3 continuous years. Amen blinking. Michelle Oboboa. Efe. The truth is that at any point in time, player, hit you peak, and when you are in a competition, there is natural, love for people, and that natural love is what has worked against is what has worked against Augustine Boachi. Talent is in abundance. Brilliant, exceptional player. Because I watch the league, because I follow these players. But a certain Awako makes headlines every week. A certain Rashid Note makes headlines every week. It's not my fault. But that is what it is. It is what it is. And let's be fair. Say it is what it is. That Awako makes headlines every week. Rashid Note makes headlines every week. So the attention is on Awako and Rashid Note. It doesn't mean Boachi is not a good player. It happens everywhere in the world. Bebeto Fabola, English journalists, be adjective or even describe the way or touchy ball. When Cafu was in top shape, it's the same. When Roberto Carlos was in top shape, but I am sure, during that time, there were better left backs. Theory time, Arsenal French national team the latter part of football obiara popo, but I'm sure the likes of I can say Filippo Inzaghi and co were in top shape, but nobody talks about them. But they were all playing around the same time. This same Henry went to Barcelona and he got missing. And the Ayala, natural love set in. It's not about what you do or what you have. Obia any baby, Obia again baby. Also, you would deal to Krumu, we are brilliant. But
FM your tier for your chef for any OBBR, yeah, that's a power for your time.
1 hour, the marathon. I am the Chubia. What I know is that said coach in the mini squad, Ubia on opinion. But me, Kasa, now when you dear them, when making it personal, now we make it constructive criticism. I like it that way because you know the football. A person who you may Ubia so nedo, Ubia on a player or penalty, but you to me form a team with 30 million people. Even if we name a squad of 50, it is only 11 who will start. And the most important thing is there is so many empire, a better team next year. House of Folk are representing Ghana. That time, Lawrence Ajay was in top shape. Jones took a few the net on a bench. It is a breeder any means. Men can say we has fun, has player any team, into a bomb empire at your team. No, let's support our own. And let's hope, say, because South Africa, and a good result. Now, South Toby for Baha, you better wrap it up. Now, you make it to the AFCON.
Okay, Auntie Henry Asante Twum. And then, you know, at the Ayan Komo, and yeah, Asam Ketwakra. All right. Gabi to am the foreigner, but Don on Swabao. Don on Swatuja. Na Man City bebo Borussia Dortmund. Na FC Porto nso abo Chelsea, but as our prediction way before I start the game will be
yeah, Shebre
then Chelsea benya Porto.
Yeah, Shebre ninye. Yeah, Shebre.
Bayern so bebo PSG na Real Madrid abo Liverpool. Na Osha semi-final pairing nso a.
Ehon nti am see Shebre ninye.
Maybe am mo cover na.
Yeah, Shebre ninye o.
Okay, so mo betimi Real Madrid na Liverpool. Yes, a laptop, Anna.
No, go.
Oh, okay. So, and semi-final pair one of Bayern PSG, a movie beyond Subisia City or Borussia Dortmund. I feel the Champions League never do.
Now, Chelsea for Porto for your semi-final. I can Chelsea semi-final. But Chelsea for the final with Trim say. 2004 FC Porto Spectrum asaba bium nti o mu hia obo no nya se bia ebuda ho ana bibisa o ka say 2004 mu yi mayi firi mu yi ahanom de gi nti o fa de Porto ye ya o yi do to se firi wo betime Chelsea firi
the metimi aka ne say akwa say the final before the final will be played in the first semi-final slot for no. And you see a situation where you bought Bayern against City in the semi-final. That is the final before the final.
Okay.
The best semi-final will go on to win the competition. But the other side, no, two grandmasters of the Champions League, yes. Real Madrid and Liverpool. And so those two teams, no, do obey the Yonko, no making it to the semi-finals. No, I'm telling you, you can never discount them. So me all out get the Champions League.
Okay, stage, you know. First leg here, seed to 7th April. And on Babona, second leg, so 13th and then 14th April. Semi-final, first one, first leg, 27 to 28 April. And after second leg, here, 4th, 5th May. Now, final, so 29th May. And I have at the final game. Yenja Humra Sishanche. Yemrana. Yamacheche adwin emfamfa ayedro no ho enso kakra enchekra
Oya godini ba anase berima opanyini anase abofra obi a wanya